It's free hit game week 34 for the vast majority of you. So we've put together a free hit draft. There's double Liverpool attack and there's no Cole Palmer. Welcome back to another video. Hope you guys are good and you're enjoying the double game week of 33. We're, of course, now planning the game week 34 free hit team. So look, without further ado, let's get cracking, shall we? So blank game week for 4 teams. No Arsenal, no Villa, no Palace, and no Man City. As planned, so many now are free hitting in 34. They've been planning this for weeks. I myself, I'm not on free hit. I'm wildcarding this week. My wildcard video will be out in a couple of days. But for those that are, hopefully this video will be of importance. Teams to target. I've put a star by the teams that I'll be targeting with my draft. Chelsea, Everton. Let's just go through very top line fixture by fixture. Chelsea versus Everton. I don't think I'll go Cole Palmer, but there'll probably be one Chelsea player in there, okay? I don't think we can absolutely bank on Chelsea, but it is a good home fixture for them. Everton, we're probably not interested. Brighton, West Ham, players like Welbeck and Bowen are good, but this is a fixture I just find really difficult to call and probably one I'd swerve on free hit. Newcastle, Ipswich, obviously triple Newcastle, goes without saying. Southampton, Fulham, I think we can have a Fulham player or two. And then when we look at Wolves, Leicester, the triple up could be on for Wolves. Operation target Leicester. Wolves are good and they keeping clean sheets. Bournemouth, Man United. Bournemouth will be favourites for this. Could we have a Bournemouth player? Clivert's back and fit. Question mark by Bournemouth. Liverpool, got to back them. Spurs are absolutely a target we can defend. We've got to stop looking at Man United and Spurs as tough fixtures. Like Man United and Spurs are two of the weakest defences in the league right now. And then Forest, Brentford have question marks because again, this is a difficult fixture, but there's very good assets for both teams. So could we punt on an Mbermo or a Chris Wood? Well, maybe we could. So let's have a look at my draft, shall we? If you're enjoying the video, I would love you to consider liking and subscribing to the channel. I'm not on free hit, as I said, but I wanted to make sure I bought you a free hit draft. So let's have a look at that draft, shall we? I've covered them up with question marks. You can probably guess some of the players, but there'll be some surprises in here. So look, let's go through and start revealing some of these players. Rather than do it by position, I'm going to just do it club by club. So where I've got the triple ups, straight away, you're all on triple Newcastle if you're on free hit, right? The big decision will be, do you go double Newcastle attack or do you go double Newcastle defence? There's a very fair argument to go Dan Burn, Livramento, Trippier, Livramento, Trippier, Pope, right? I'm going Livramento over Trippier. Now, Trippier does come with set-piece threat, and sure, Trippier probably the more sensible option, but in open play, Livramento's really caught the eye in recent weeks. This is a bit of a coin toss. It could be Trippier, it could be Livramento. Regardless, I think one Newcastle defender is enough because I think double Newcastle attack is needed on free hit. Because it's a home fixture, St James's Park, where Newcastle have been so good. I know they lost last time out to Villa. That was away from home. Ipswich dead and buried. They've just conceded 4 to Arsenal. I fancy Newcastle to put up a good goal return here. So Isak is a no-brainer. We don't need to talk about Isak. If Isak's not on your free hit team, you should need to have a long, hard look at yourself. But the second attacking spot is up for grabs. Barnes has really caught the eye of late. And Murphy's been sensational. But Anthony Gordon is now back fit. Now, I don't think Gordon comes in and starts. But if he was to start, it would be for Barnes, not for Murphy. And if we get an early sub between Murphy and Barnes, I'd like to think Murphy gets more minutes. That's the only reason I've not gone Barnes or Gordon. I just think Murphy is the soundest bet for the most amount of minutes in this fixture. And Murphy, by the way, he's a Norwich lad, isn't he? He's a Norwich lad. If you're not familiar, Norwich and Ipswich have a massive rivalry, the East Anglia derby. And because of that, I like the narrative there as a Norwich lad. So look, triple Newcastle. This is one of the fixtures to target, arguably the best fixture to target of the blank game week. Where else are we going for double and triple ups? Well, Wolves. At the moment, it's double up in my 11 and it's got a Wolves player on the bench. There is an argument to put triple Wolves in your 11. Semedo and Aït-Nouri, very little splits them. In fact, in recent weeks, maybe Semedo's been better than Aït-Nouri. So again, that's a coin toss if you're only going with one of them. Semedo is, of course, the club captain and doesn't get the early subs that Aït-Nouri gets. Aït-Nouri's got the slightly higher goal threat. And Cunha feels like a lock. I think he's now produced returns in 4 of his last 5. He is leaving, and because of that, there is a little bit of doubt over his selection every week. Like, at what point does Pereira go, you're not here next year, there's no point in playing you, let's start playing the players that we know will be around next season so we can start to plan. But Cunha did come in last time out and, of course, got points. And when he gets an attack in return, a goal or an assist, almost certainly he gets bonus points. And again, we saw that at the weekend. So Cunha would be a lock for me on free hit, as would one Wolves defender, possibly two. And we can stack here because Leicester are bad. Leicester are so bad. Leicester don't score goals. I fancy Wolves for a clean sheet here, so could absolutely go Semedo and Aït-Nouri. Now, remember, they play a back five, so these are two high wing backs that do offer something in attack. That's the reason I've gone Livramento. Again, he's always more advanced than Trippier in open play. There's options there for Wolves. You could definitely go triple up. Let me know in the comments if you're going triple or double, or maybe even single in your 11 for Wolves. Let's move on then. So we've got Newcastle and Wolves, two brilliant standout fixtures against relegated teams playing at home, right? That's why we're targeting them. Many of you, like me, will be a fixtures first manager, right? And you'll look at the fixture matchups and go, you've got to back Wolves and you've got to back Newcastle. But who else are we backing? Liverpool. You have to back Liverpool because, look, they're probably going to win the title at the weekend, right? Technically. Now, they win the league if Arsenal fail to beat Crystal Palace in the week. But let's assume Arsenal beat Palace. I think many of us think that will be the case. Liverpool then, at Anfield, against Spurs, get to play to win the league at Anfield against Spurs. They will love that. They don't want to win the league away from home. They want to win the league against Spurs. There'll be a party atmosphere in the air. And with that in mind, the double up in attack especially, I think, is needed. Now, the big question, we don't need to talk about Mo Salah yet. We'll talk about captaincy later. The big question here would be Diaz versus Jota versus Gakpo. Now, Gakpo got the start at the weekend instead of Jota. 60-30. And I think we'll see that again. Don't know who starts, Jota or Gakpo, 60-30. The one player that is getting the minutes out of the three of them is Luis Diaz, and he gets early subbed less. So I would go with the same theme. Luis Diaz again for 90 minutes on the left-hand side. He offers you something there. I think you go double Liverpool attack. I know many will look at the fixture and go, oh, Spurs, tough game. It's not. Spurs is a brilliant game. Spurs is a cracking entry point. It really is. They are so vulnerable defensively. So Luis Diaz and Salah, honestly, they'd be locks on my free hit. Mo Salah, by the way, I got the armband on him. I think that's where I'll go with my actual team. It will be between Isak and Salah for most. I like the narrative of winning the league at Anfield and Salah being the guy that scores the goals when they lift the trophy, when Van Dijk lifts that trophy. Van Dijk, by the way, is on the bench here. You never know with Spurs, they could score a goal. And I just look at my back line and go, they're more likely for clean sheets. Although Virgil, of course, offers some goal threat. Now, Bradley and Trent are a little bit of a swerve for me, unless there's something in the press conference. And Slot is the type of manager that does tell us when stuff's going on. Like he told us last week, Bradley was starting. He told us 2 weeks ago, Bradley was starting. He told us last week that Trent wasn't ready for a start. So maybe we get something from Slot, and if we do, that alludes to a Trent starting because it's the trophy lift, you'd put Trent in. Or if there was something that said Bradley was going to start, you'd put Bradley in. So that is, of course, a tempter at the back there. And if it was Bradley or Trent over Van Dijk, for me, I'd probably get them in the 11. But I need something from Slot to go there. Luis Diaz and Salah, though, as discussed, in the team. So we've got Liverpool tick, Newcastle tick, Wolves tick. But let's have a look at some of those other teams we discussed at the top of the show, because you can see here the fixture matchup. So we've done Newcastle Ipswich, we've done Wolves Leicester, and we've done Liverpool Spurs. They were the three big ones for me. Now, the other big decisions here are how many Fulham, Chelsea, Bournemouth, and maybe Brentford or Forest players do you pick? Now, that is a really, really tricky one, guys. And this is where a lot of drafts will differ. And I think it will probably differ off the back of the teams just mentioned. So we'll look at the teams and we'll go, yeah, we're all going big on maybe not the same players. Maybe there'll be Trippier, maybe there'll be a Trent, but there'll be Wolves, Liverpool and Newcastle in absolutely every team, and rightly so. And there'll be double ups or triple ups, as I've got here. But this is where things get a little bit different. Guys, before we see the rest of my team, just want to give a nod to the fact that it's my birthday. It's kind of my birthday. My YouTube birthday was 2 years ago, pretty much. I started a YouTube channel couple of years ago, and I would love you to support my journey. I've been producing content on YouTube for years, and it took me forever to set up my own YouTube channel. And I'm talking 5 years. I was really nervous about doing it. I didn't know how to edit and all of that stuff. So guys, if you want to support me and you don't already subscribe to the channel, please do consider liking, commenting on this video. If you've got a question, I'll respond to all comments, but also just check that you are subscribed with the notification bell on, and click those 2 buttons if you want to show your support. Let's have a look at the rest of my team, shall we? So Fulham, they're the other one with the big matchup. Fulham versus Southampton. Shame it's away from home. If Fulham were at Craven Cottage, I think we'd be more invested. But we're going to discuss the 3 players I've got. Only one in the 11, and that is Ryan Sessegnon. Now, Sessegnon, if you haven't seen, is playing as a wide forward, and he has done for the last 3 weeks. Now, at the weekend just gone, he picked up 3 bonus points against Chelsea. He was on the losing team, but he came off early. So he locked in the clean sheet, he got an assist, and he got 3 bonus points. Now, Sessegnon is a wide forward that's got attacking threat, and he's scoring goals and he's getting assists. Now, there is a little bit of worry, does he stay in the team with the likes of Harry Wilson back fit and Adama around? But as things stand, it's Iwobi one side, Sessegnon the other, and it's kind of working. Now, he's listed as a defender at like 4.1 million. He's a really fun enabler, but of course, if you're worried about minutes, you go to someone like an Anthony Robinson. Will Fulham keep a clean sheet versus Southampton? I guess this is the spot I'm less certain on. I think I prefer a Liverpool defender to a Sessegnon if I wasn't thinking Sessegnon was going to start. Sessegnon comes with the upside because he's playing as a wide forward, but I prefer a Van Dijk than an actual Fulham defender like a Robinson, for example, I think. And then on the bench, Raul Jimenez, like, he always pops up with points when you don't expect them. Muniz wasn't in the squad last time out, so if Muniz is still injured, then Raul Jimenez versus Southampton, if you know he's going to start, he'll probably get an early sub, but no, he'll start and get 80 minutes. Raul Jimenez 80 minutes versus Southampton can brace, absolutely. And again, when Raul Jimenez scores, you get bonus points. And then Leno is a legit option on the bench in goal. And we've got to talk about goalkeepers because there's probably no one absolute standout must pick me. Sure, Nick Pope is a good option, but you've probably got a Newcastle defender and the triple up out in the 10 remaining outfield spots. So when I look at goalkeepers, we'll get there in a sec, but I've got a couple of midfield spots. Now, we haven't mentioned one man. We haven't mentioned Cole Palmer. Spoiler alert, Cole Palmer isn't in this team. And I'm not... Look, the reason people are picking Cole Palmer is they go, he's been there, done it, and he's been brilliant at times this season, earlier this season, and he absolutely has. Cole Palmer's been a great FPL asset this season. But if you take the last few weeks, the last few months, he's been a dud. And by the way, he dudded again at the weekend versus Fulham. This doesn't show his 2-pointer versus Fulham. 2-2, 6-2, 2-3, 1-0, 6-1, 4-2. No. There's lots of other players we can pick that are 7-8 million. Forget about the price tag, Jesse J. Honestly, forget about the price tag here. Don't pick Cole Palmer just because you see him as an expensive player that takes penalties. Chelsea are unpredictable. Cole Palmer's off the boil. I don't think he'd be in my free hit team. I really don't. Now, that could sting me because he's a class player and I love Cole Palmer as much as anyone. But right here, right now, I don't think I can pick him. So let me know in the comments if you're going Cole Palmer on free hit or not. On my wild card, I don't think he'll be in, guys. In fact, he won't be in my wild card team. I do have a Chelsea player in the form of Sanchez. He is now the number 1 again. And Sanchez in goal, yeah, it's fine. Like, I do expect Chelsea to win the football match. I do expect it to be low scoring, and Everton do have problems scoring goals. If Everton aren't going to score goals, Sanchez cleans. It's probably only a 6. I'll take the 6. I would be tempted on Sanchez, or maybe a Cucurella because he gives you some upside. But I think the attacking players I've got there at the back, Livramento, Aït-Nouri, Sessegnon, even Semedo, they will offer more attacking upside, I think, than Cucurella, who has scored a few goals this season, admittedly. But at the moment, just from eye test, I think I prefer those 3. So 2 midfield spots up for grabs. These 2 haven't got the best fixtures, but they're very, very good options. And guys, if you have enjoyed this video, do hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. I must mention that bench, by the way. These players could get on the pitch at any point. Like, I'm not precious over going, it's Raul Jimenez instead of one of the 2 players I'm about to show you and go to a 3-4-3, or it's Semedo instead of Aït-Nouri or Sessegnon. So this is the squad I like. There are a couple of notable absentees, and I should just mention those notable absentees. Bruno Fernandes isn't in. He's fine, but I don't trust Man United, and they're away from home. I expect Bournemouth to win. Palmer, we've mentioned, isn't in. And then I also like if you want to punt on a Liverpool starter, if we knew Jota or Gakpo was starting, you could go there. And of course, we've mentioned Trent and Bradley as well. The other two remaining spots, though, guys, they're not bad. They're not bad at all. And Mbeumo and Kluivert, they both take penalties. They're both got okay fixtures, but they're playing well. The teams are playing well enough. Bournemouth have won and drawn their last 2 games, but still could get European football. And Brentford massively chasing European football, guys, and it'd be massive for Brentford. Tough fixture from Mbeumo, but fresh off the back of his absolute monster haul at the weekend. And Mbeumo and Kluivert, Mbeumo would be a lock. Kluivert, I'd be tempted to go over a Palmer or a Bruno. Guys, if you've enjoyed the video, on your way out, do hit that like and subscribe button, comment, and I'll see you from my wildcard team tomorrow. See you later, guys. Bye-bye.